Brodes Media.
What is going on, everyone? Before we talk about Brad Miller's big bomb, make sure if you are new to the channel, smash that subscribe button. We are on the road to 20,000 subscribers. And also hit that thumbs up button as well. I love you all so much. Also on Twitter, at Brodes81. 6,000 followers. We just hit the mark yesterday, but let's continue to get that rising as well. On Twitter, at Brodes81. Thank you so much. You are the best. You are the best. You are the best. You are the best. With that, enjoy the show. That was insane, right? I mean, we can all agree that that was absolutely bizarre. The second game was drunk. And if you're going to come in here and expect me to go all crazy, go all nuts, and be all excited about what this means, did Brad Miller just save the season? Just like we stated a couple games ago when we asked if Andrew McCutchen saved the season. Here's reality of what we just occurred. They split with the Nationals. Right after they split with the Braves. Right after they got swept by the Yankees. This team pisses me off, and it's time to put my foot down. Now, I know what's going to happen because they're playing the Pirates, who is so irrelevant, and they're such a dumpster fire, and they're moving on from pieces that maybe there's something generated by playing such a garbage squad. Maybe not with Vince Velasquez on the mound. You truly never know. Although you can go down 7-0 and this Phillies team can clearly climb back. Now, a lot of that has to go on the Nationals, who quite frankly sucked and pissed this one away. The Phils just won with 4 errors. I saw so many ridiculously horrendous plays where I can't feel good, even though Brad Miller goes lefty-lefty with 2 strikes and hits a walk-off grand slam, which is such a special, insane moment. I'm sorry, it does not impact me because I am tired, okay? I hit a wall. I am so defeated inside when watching this baseball team. Luke Williams kicking the ball around. Bryce Harper out in right field. Andrew McCutchen running into the wall. Sanchez starting a baseball game, followed by Connor Brogdon and Brandon Kintzler. It's such a nightmare, and I know what you're all thinking. Well, Dave Dombrowski is going to acquire someone for the back end of the starting rotation. Yeah, he's looking forward to getting 4 and 5 pitchers and maybe some bullpen help. I'm sorry. I can't do it. So if you expected me to go rah-rah and pom-poms and that little kid who took his shirt off and was waving it around all day, if you want me to be that individual, which I normally am all in on those type of emotions. Right now, I'm the complete opposite. This team is now 51 and 51, and all year long they're flip-flopping. One game under, then they're 500. One game over, then they're 500. This is who they are, and I'm sick and tired of hearing about how they're only X amount of games back. It doesn't matter. I just can't stand it. I can't stand it. They play such a piss-poor version of baseball, and it's so weird to say that today because, you know, you looked at what happened. It was ridiculous. 11-8 win. Brad Miller with the walk-off. Okay, you had the pinch hit pitchers. Aaron Nola works a crazy walk, which I was screaming at my TV because with that 3-0 count, it was clearly a ball. It was clearly a ball. They called it a strike, and I'm going, oh, no. Now it's 3-2 after that pitch, and I'm getting really nervous that maybe that changed the complexity of the entire inning, which look what would have happened if something did go down with Aaron Nola. If they did ring him up and they did strike him out after battling back down 3-0, that would have been terrible. That would have ripped it right out of our chest. We would have missed out on this special moment. Not that I think it means much, big picture, because I don't. But still, I mean, it was definitely a horrendous call to make it a 3-1 count. Now it's 3-2. And I could argue that the pitch that walked Aaron Nola, even though that was still a ball, this just shows you how egregious the first strike call was. The fourth ball would have been a better strike call, which still would have been piss poor. But I think you understand my point. Look, this tweet was posted after the Phillies were at 100 games. They were 50-50 overall. They were 29-29 when Wheeler, Nola, and Eflin started. They were 21-21 when anybody else started. 30-20 at home, 20-30 on the road, 44-44 in the first half, 6-6 in the second half, 26-26 versus the NL East, 24-24 versus everybody else. It's just absolutely mind-blowing, and it punches me in the gut to see this team go on the highs of highs, and I won't allow that to take over my life anymore. There was once a time where I was okay with it. 3 years in, I'm sick and tired of it, and I won't allow it to happen anymore. What else was bonkers? Ranger Suarez in extras gets out of that bases loaded moment. He only allowed 1 run. That was actually a pretty impressive spot for Ranger. He threw some really great pitches, and you thought maybe, because he did get hit pretty good a couple times, and you're like, uh-oh, Ranger doesn't have it tonight. And once there was a lot of drama on the bases, there was traffic involved, he shut the door pretty damn well, and as you could see, it was clearly a huge part of the game and coming back. How about when Bryce Harper and Rhys Hoskins both leave the game, and you wonder, are they throwing the white flag out there thinking this game's over, we're done, I'm going to get some rest, but they fight back anyway? How ironic. JT Realmuto comes up clutch to tie the game in that bottom of the 7th inning with a nice shot down. No, it wasn't the third base side. It was third base side, but it was in between shortstop and third base, closer to shortstop. It was ripped. It was a ripped ground ball that scored 2 runs. Now you're talking about a tie baseball game. Him and Brad Miller were the ones to come up very clutch in crucial moments. They replaced Rhys Hoskins and Bryce Harper. And there is a bit inside of me that feels a little bit upset when I hear afterwards, it's just day to day and they expect to play tomorrow. Well, then what are you doing? What are you doing? Because that happens all the time with this franchise. Once again, it's a lack of urgency from the top down. There's no foot on the gas. There's no let's go mode. It's, you know what? I'm not feeling great today. I'll play tomorrow. You know what? I'm dehydrated. I'll worry about it tomorrow. I don't feel really good. I think something's wrong here. I'll play tomorrow. Yeah, I'll play tomorrow too. I'll play tomorrow. I don't feel like doing anything today. I'll play tomorrow. Every time it feels like. And I'm starting to get annoyed by it, really. I'll play tomorrow. It's a joke. It's a joke. And yeah, that's me being fired up a bit about Bryce Harper, even though I know that he's having a underrated season, in my opinion. But dude, now I heard Jason Stark on the Mikey Miss show bring up, because Mikey Miss, I saw him go back and forth with an individual on Twitter. This one individual is Mr. Optimistic with the Phillies, and to some level, it's quite embarrassing because it's way too positive. Chill out, dude. The team's not as good as you think they are. But he brought up a point about Bryce Harper and how he's having an excellent season. And Mikey Miss went back and was like, dude, really? An excellent season? He's a power hitter that's not hitting with power right now. And he brought that up to Jason Stark when he was on for an interview. And one of the things Jason Stark said is he's not playing healthy. This guy is banged up right now. There's a lot of nicked up things throughout his body, and he's just going out there competing. But he hasn't been healthy for quite some time. And not that that's breaking news, but we see him out there a lot, and we just somewhat write it off throughout all the lingering issues. But that doesn't... I bring that up because, yes, I'm aware and I'm understanding of the battle that he has been through physically this season. There has been a lot of things here and there that has limited his capabilities and how much he's able to be out there on the field. With that said, he's playing right now and he's out there, and I know they say back day to day and sore here, dehydrated here. There's still too many of those little things that keep popping up that he leaves the game, but don't worry about it. I'm totally fine. Well, if you're fine, fucking play, right? And this isn't just a Bryce Harper thing. It's just the nature of where this team is, how soft they are, how there's no urgency. I'd rather protect Zack Wheeler than allow him to pitch another inning because, I'm worried about him in September. Worried about him in September? Why? Because the Phillies are going to have a chance? No! If you don't pitch him now, you're not going to have that fucking chance. That's the difference. Now, there is a line. Yes, you want to make sure that these players are not thrown into bad spots where you're doing physical damage to them outrageously. But there's also a time where you can maybe figure out playing these individuals more so you even have a fighter's chance down the road. Not that I think that's going to be the difference, because I don't, because this team stinks anyway. But I'm ready for change, if you can't tell. I said sell. Sell, sell, sell. And so many people are fired up back at me on Twitter. Brodes, what are you selling? I'm selling Rhys Hoskins. I'm selling Aaron Nola. I'm selling Andrew McCutchen. And then I get hit with this. Why would you sell Aaron Nola? His contract is very team-friendly. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's part of the reason why I am trading Aaron Nola, because you can get legitimate compensation back in return for Rhys Hoskins. And a player like Aaron Nola, who in this market right now for starting pitching is not very good. There's not a lot of starters out there. The Padres are ready to snag Max Scherzer off the bump, who unfortunately played his last game in Washington by shredding through the Phillies and giving us a loss before we were able to, get him out of this division. Now, I know they're not going to do this. This isn't something that I'm saying they're going to do, and it's in the dialogue upstairs at Citizens Bank Park in any sort of meeting room, offices. It's not going to happen. That's what I would do, though. You're lying to yourself if you say this team is a buying team. Now, the devil's advocate is they're not giving up much prospects, and they're giving up the lowest of the low to try and get a 4 or 5 type of starter, just to get random guys in here to change something up to say that you bought, who can be an upgrade over Matt Moore. That's how low it is. It's, hey, let's get better than Matt Moore. So you're not giving up much, so does it hurt you or kill your franchise to make these moves? No, not necessarily. But still, it eats me alive that here we are lying to ourselves again. They would never in a billion years think about doing this at all in any other division in the league. They're a bad baseball team. They're a bad, bad baseball team. What else happened in that drunk game? Back-to-back homers by Bowman Kutch. Rhys Hoskins went yard when it was basically a blowout. The Nationals, though, shame on them for that to go down that way. Their relief pitching was brutal. They lost Brad Hand, although the Phillies got to Brad Hand earlier in this series, but they also lost to Brad Hand in this series as well throughout their first 2 games. But I'm getting crushed. I'm going to be honest with you. I did hear this, and let's go to Game 1. The Phillies lost 3-1. Zack Wheeler pitched a great performance until the end. Odubel Herrera with the bad play out in center field, and then there was a home run by Gomes to give the Nationals a 3-1 lead. Not enough run production by the offense. Very hard to do that against a player like Max Scherzer, but you still would have liked to seen some help from this club that can maybe give Zack Wheeler the benefit of the doubt here. Hey, I got you tonight. I got you today. But that wasn't necessarily the case, and they ended up losing that first game of the series. I heard this, though. Why did Joe put him in for the 7th? Really? Now we're complaining that they put him in for the 7th? What would have happened if they went to a bullpen piece for that 7th inning instead of going to Zack Wheeler? You would have bitched and complained that they went to the bullpen and they didn't allow Zack Wheeler to go the 7th inning. It's unfortunate. He got rocked. Yeah, absolutely. Now, did Odubel Herrera's play factor in tremendously? Half of me says no because he allowed the home run anyway. The other half says you pitch differently when someone's on base compared to when you make a routine out and there's another out on the board. How many times do we go over this where you're a starting pitcher, your defense sucks, they're a fucking embarrassment, they force you to get more outs, they cause you a ton of problems. I mean, it's over and over and over again. Who knows how this would have played out against the Nationals in the second game if Marchand behind the plate didn't have that beautiful gun out at second, because Andrew McCutchen ends up running to the wall later on, and there could have been more damage done. I mean, that absolutely could have changed the play. Imagine that. Or could have changed the game, I should say. Imagine that, though. A defensive play possibly changing the outcome of a game. We wouldn't know because, well, we would know. We would know. That's not fair. We know because we see the other team pounce on those opportunities a lot. We don't see it necessarily happening because of the Phillies making those plays. And by no means am I giving this defense credit today. 4 fucking errors. You do not win games when you have 4 errors. The other team has to do something seriously wrong for you to still be on the winning side. So I hope I'm not getting anybody all upset. Although I don't care if I am. Reality is I sit here and just express my opinion, and this is how I genuinely feel after this game. You know, it's like I'm bothered. I'm bothered by the way I'm starting to get so frustrated with wins after losses after losses after wins because it's never going to end. We're in Flyers territory now where Claude Giroux, Sean Couturier, and Jacob Voracek did not work. Make something happen. Change the identity of the franchise. This team needs to change. This organization needs serious change. I know Rhys Hoskins is good. That's why I'm trading him. I know Aaron Nola is better than this. That's why I'm trading him. Like on paper, this team, like I'm sick and tired of hearing, well, JT's this, and you have Aaron Nola and Zack Wheeler and Rhys Hoskins and Alec Boehm and Bryce Harper. I got it. I know what the team is. You don't have to tell me the roster. I've been going through this team for years now. I know the roster. I don't care what the roster says right now. I care what the production says. The production says something needs to be different. You need to head in another direction. I don't care what Rhys Hoskins is hitting this year. I know it's good. I know he's having offensive structure this year. That's why I want something in return. You gotta freshen it up. All right? Change the clubhouse. Because whatever mix has been going on, I'm done with it. I hear Joe Girardi afterwards say, oh, I'm so proud of these guys. I'd go to war with them every day. They're always giving me everything. Oh, I'd love to go to war with these guys. Yeah? I fucking don't. I don't at all. I'm tired of it. Let's go. Something new. Something new. I'm talking more big picture here, not trade deadline, although we'll keep our eyes on Dave Dombrowski. We know something's happening. We saw what they tried to do. Did not work. Ended up going to Seattle. Now, I will admit, there is a big difference in one of the statements I said when it didn't go down was, you know, if you're a 500 baseball team without Anderson, if you're thinking of win percentage, are you a 5-10 win percentage type of team with Anderson? And Tom Moore put out a tweet, and he covers a lot of teams he's a sports columnist for the Bucks County Courier-Times, and he talked about how, I want to find the tweet exactly. He would have been a significant upgrade, more than what people thought. He's gone at least 5 innings in all 18 starts, although that's a very, 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 very low number to be excited about. But he has 7 quality starts, which is 6 or more innings pitched, while allowing 3 or fewer runs. Velasquez and Howard have combined 3 quality starts and 32 tries. Now, I don't want to blow this out of proportion and make it seem way bigger than what it is, but there is an element of, you know, having 7 quality starts by 1 pitcher compared to 3 total between 2 pitchers in 32 attempts. So, yeah, I mean, once again, it's not maybe 530 win percentage. If that's fair, maybe I should have gave him a little bit more, just a bit more on the upside there. But, yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I'm looking at when it comes to Dave Dombrowski. While the Yankees are cleaning up everybody, while the Yankees are going after Joey Gallo, and who else did I see them go after? Oh, from the Cubs, Anthony Rizzo. Here we are with Anderson. I'm supposed to have my fancy tickled. Breaking news. No fancy has been tickled at all. All right, what else? Sanchez's 4 earned runs in the third of an inning. Brogdon, Kinsler, Neris. Boehm had 3 hits. How about that? Alec Boehm had 3 hits. I'm fascinated to hear from the Anytime Hotline, though. What is the reaction going to be? Is it going to be overexcitement? Look, I don't know what they're going to sound like. I would imagine, though, it's going to be down the road or down the path of, wow, Brad Miller, what a moment, what a special walk-off grand slam. Maybe that will be the spark that we're looking for. You know how many times we've said that? And after so many damn times, eventually reality settles in, right? I'm not going to believe that for the 6th time this season, they had that special hit that's going to change the trajectory of the season. Like, maybe if you're lucky, if you're a team, if it doesn't happen the first time that moment occurs, you get a second attempt. And if it happens that second attempt, well, kudos to you. You took advantage. But once you start talking about 3, 4, 5, it's not it. Your team doesn't have it. Your team's not good. That's how I interpret it. This is the response I always get, though. Brodes, the Mets are not good. The Phillies are not good. The Phillies are not good. They're not good. They had 2 series at home against division opponents that are worse than them in the standings. They split both. But they have the second easiest schedule in the second half. They split both. Yeah, the Pirates are coming up. The Cubs are falling apart. I got it. I get it. I see it. They're also going to be pitching Vinny V, Spencer Howard, Matt Moore. Hopefully not. Hopefully there's some help coming in here where they don't. Well, not hopefully. My move would be sell everybody. But in terms of where I know they're going to go and what reality of the situation is with Dave Dombrowski, who's always willing to buy and go in that direction. Hopefully no Matt Moore. This Nationals team, look, they had COVID issues, and they come back the next day, and they try and put puzzle pieces together. They still split with you. We got to stop acting as if, oh, well, the teams they're playing aren't good. They're not good. They are not good. What is good, though, is DraftKings Sportsbook, which is not only my favorite sportsbook, but America's top-rated sportsbook. Speaking of America, our top athletes are over in Tokyo competing for the gold. And DraftKings has a medal-worthy offer just for my listeners. Listen to this great offer. Download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app right now and use promo code BRODES when you sign up to turn $1 into $100 in free credits if America wins a medal. That's code BRODES to turn $1 into $100 in free credits. For a limited time, only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Must be 21 or older, New Jersey, Indiana, or Pennsylvania only. New customers only. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Or in Indiana, 1-800-9-WITH-IT. Always forget about that Indiana one. All right, Anytime Hotline. Where are they? Here they are. Okay, let's kick it off. Here we go.
Hey, Brodes. Great win. Brad Miller with the walk-off grand slam. Here's my thoughts. I think basically now trade him. I understand that was a great win and everything. I've seen it too many times from this team where they just drag us in and they just disappoint. So I still think we should sell. It'd be great if we can go on a run, but I don't think we're good enough to beat the Mets in this division. And even maybe if we get to the playoffs, we can make a run. I just don't think we're good enough this year. I'd rather make a run in the offseason, maybe trade prospects. I think we'd get a decent amount back for Kutch, Miller, and maybe what am I thinking of?
Well, you wouldn't be able to do Andrew McCutchen in the offseason. That's something you have to do right now. That's something at the deadline when someone's trying to make an acquisition and help out their team because Andrew McCutchen's not going to be here next season. And I don't believe Brad Miller, he signed a 1-year deal as well. What you're talking about has to be done by now. It needs to happen right now. You had me. I was not in my head and all excited because you were on the right page. You were on the right track talking about how you don't really believe in this team and it's all nonsense. I'm like, yes, keep feeding me that. That is correct energy. That's the right energy. And then you said, well, if they do make the playoffs, maybe they can make a run. No. That's where you lost me. That's where you went off track. That's where you went to another universe that I'm not willing to go to. Not only are we having discussions about how much of a fraudulent team they are to buy, but now we're saying, well, if they do make the playoffs, maybe they can make a run. No! You were right originally. You were absolutely 1,000% correct originally. Stay with that thought. Stay with that process right there. Now, I saw a couple people that I respect out there on the Twitter sphere after the game saying there's no reason to be negative afterwards because I was a bit negative because I mentioned, look, all they did was split. Let's cool the Jets. They split after splitting with the Braves after getting swept in New York. For the third damn time I'm expressing that. That's what just happened. But that's reality. I'm just giving you legitimate context here on what just went down. But it's, why don't you appreciate the awesome home run grand slam walk-off while still acknowledging that this team is a major problem? And it's because the toying, it's the tug of war that I'm constantly having where enough is enough. There's a breaking point. Maybe 5-6 weeks ago, I'd be all in on the woohoo. It ain't 5 or 6 weeks ago. It's been 5 or 6 weeks of this continuing to happen. It's been 3 years total of this. There's a breaking point. I hit my breaking point. That's why I'm not just going to appreciate the moment for what it is.
Oh my God, the Fighting Phils actually split the series. I thought they were going to lose the series in embarrassing fashion. I mean, Max Scherzer, he is terrific. I mean, he's going to get traded, but he was great. And Zack Wheeler, he was great for the first 6 innings. In the 7th inning, he kind of fell apart a little bit, but it was a disappointing game 1, no offense for Zack Wheeler. And then game 2, you fall behind 7-0. I think you had Sanchez start the game, Kinsler, and then you had Connor Brogdon, a 2-run home run. So the Phillies are down 7-0. They came back and won. I know you're gonna say, well, in just one game, and they should have won the series, but still a great win.
I can't be positive with this team anymore. I'm trying to see if I remember writing a note down for game 1 that I didn't really get to because game 2 was so out there and bonkers that it really stole my brain. But in that 6th inning in game 1, Gene Segura couldn't turn 2. He dropped the ball out of his mitt. It would have been a super close play anyway, to be honest with you, to try and even make the play over at first base, but you attempted to do something. Although, mentioned Gene Segura, he tried to throw the ball to home plate in game 2, and jeez. I can't even think about the sloppiness involved. But anyway, in the 6th inning, couldn't turn 2. It would have been a hard play, but Brad Miller dives to first base, makes a diving head first play to touch the base with the ball in his glove to get out of the inning. A lot of double play balls for Zack Wheeler, which is what we've seen out of him before. He's not afraid to pitch to some contact. He'll keep that pitch count low, and he'll have those double play balls, but ultimately, when you don't have enough scoring in place, that's not going to be enough. 1 run is not going to be enough at all. You need a lot more. Not that it's easy, right? I mean, at least that game you could understand why the offense goes the way that it goes, and it ends up being a little bit more disappointing because of the lack of timely hits that we have seen for this recent stretch. So when that happens for so long and then you see it happen against a Max Scherzer, you apply that to all the other games where they should have had more damage done against pitchers that you should be able to abuse. But because it's Max Scherzer, you need to take a step back, a deep breath, and realize, okay, it's Scherzer. This is what's supposed to happen against a Max Scherzer. And they were cruising the game. I looked down at the clock. I'm like, what time is it? And then, of course, game 2 was the exact opposite of that, and that kept going on, and JT and the ball being thrown by the outfield. It ends up almost going into the Phillies dugout, which would have scored another run, and he wouldn't even have had to go to extras, but drunk. One more time, down 7-0. You were pinch hitting for pitchers, or you were pinch hitting pitchers for big at bats. Aaron Nola had a huge walk. Ranger Suarez in extras. He left the bases loaded after only allowing 1 run, which was monstrous. Bryce and Rhys exit the game. You put in JT and Brad Miller. Both of those guys step up big. You have back-to-back home runs by Bowman Kutch earlier in the outing. It was something else. The Phillies had 4 errors. How do you win this baseball game?
What a game for the Phillies. Down 7-0, come back, tie it up in extra innings, and Brad Miller with a walk-off grand slam to win it for the Phillies. Brodes, that's amazing. That's what I'm talking about. Now all we need to do is do something before the MLB trade deadline, and this team is in contention to win the NL East and make the playoff. Brodes, let's go. I love it. Ring the bell and let's go Phillies.
That's what I'm talking about, baby. That's what I'm talking about, baby. No. Oh, this is not what I'm talking about, baby. This is not. I don't know if you can see what's going on in my life right now because of this baseball team, but I've hit rock bottom. And don't tell me that there's more to go downhill. Like, don't tell me I'm actually not at rock bottom and I think I'm at rock bottom. No. This has to be rock bottom. There's no way that this frustration could get any worse, right? I mean, let's be realistic. If they plummeted and fell flat on their face, that wouldn't make it any worse. That would put me out of my misery and almost make me feel better about things. If they go on a run, I'm not going to feel worse about it because then they actually did something, although the chances of that happening in my brain is 0.00000000003%. So, it's just crazy. And if you go back to week 1, week 2, and those videos of pumping my fist, sweeping the Braves, right? Now, if I look at this phone call here, this looks like it's after game 1 of the doubleheader. So I'm fascinated to hear the tone in this call because I could see when the message was left. So let's hear this bad boy.
Tough loss for the Phils. Honestly, just feels kind of like this was the final nail in the coffin on the season. They really had a chance to show the management, that they deserved to buy. Honestly, I'd just sit tight, maybe make a few little moves here and there, but the reality is this team is just not good enough. It's plain and simple. They aren't good enough. If they were in any other division, they're 10 games back, they're 15 games back, they're a 500 team. They always will be a 500 team until this whole board, everything has been drained out. I don't know why this whole fan base thinks that, let's go get Chris Bryant and Craig Kimbrell and that'll solve, there's too many holes, and patching them up with expensive players is really not going to do anything.
I love that you said that because I literally got a response earlier today that you're going to feel stupid, Brodes, when they get 2 more starting pitchers, a reliever, and a better defender. What? Now, it is funny to hear the tone, though, right? That feels like a nail in the coffin, except then they have that amazing, really high-energy win, and it almost flipped 180. Knowing you're going to play the Pittsburgh Pirates, how much does that also impact the way people feel? Hold on, maybe there's a chance to, quote, do something here. But really? So you're telling me you're going to somehow get a better defender? Let me know who that is. Two starting pitchers and a bullpen piece or whatever it was. 2 bullpen pieces, a starter and a better defender. I mean, that's a significant change. Let me know where all that's coming from. I'll sit here. You get back to me and let me know when that's going to happen because I just don't see that at all. Anyway, I'm upset that this is my tone throughout the show. But like I said, I just keep it 100. I just keep it how I feel. This is my real reaction to it. This is how I feel. I'm not fist pumping. I'm not going all nuts. I need something new. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you next time.